Go.
A free market economy versus a planned economy. And really what these two center around are the goods and services relating back to the law of supply and demand. So because we live in America, we have a largely free market economy that meets society's needs, and these companies gain profits. And that's the key word here, is profit. In a free market economy, these companies are self-centered because they want profit. And that profit they can either reinvest or use however they want. Now, when thinking about that, these companies are selfish in the sense that they want to gain this profit. But because we live in a free market economy, there's multiple different companies that are allowed to make many different products. So take toothpaste, for example. There's Colgate, Crest, Sensodyne. There's multiple different toothpaste brands that you can name. And because there's multiple brands, those companies are competing for the consumer to buy their specific products. So they have an incentive to make quality products. So that's why we don't have one or two just different types of toothpaste that are very low quality. When we moved on to the other side, to a planned economy, we tend to see many of those things also throughout history, usually in governance through socialism or communism. Modern day planned economies usually center around North Korea and China, and we see the government take a larger role in that sense. They have specific companies that only produce, say, 2 types of toothpaste that the consumers can only buy in that sense. And then the 3 main ideas or patterns that we see throughout history and in today in planned economics is the idea of land, labor, and capital. So with land, the government controls how you buy the land, who is allowed to buy that land, where you're supposed to live, where companies can build to produce as well as distribute. The labor, how long you're allowed to work, who's allowed to work, at what age you're allowed to work, for what companies, for certain times. And then the capital, how do you use that profit that you've gained? In a free market economy, that profit is yours and you are allowed to do whatever you please with that profit. In a more controlled and planned economy, the government says you can only spend so much or a certain percentage of that profit on specific things or reinvest it into that economy. And so really what we see here, that key point, is government control. How in control, how invested is the government into that specific economic system. So let's recap. In conclusion, we talked about what economics is. And economics is the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. And so that relates to our daily lives through whether that be producing socks and shoes for the people of the world, and then distributing that via online through Amazon or a retail store like Walmart. Then we talked about the law of supply and demand, and how if we have a larger supply, we'll have lower demand, or if we have a low supply, we have a higher demand. And this is the main, this law dictates the price determination for how we buy those specific commodities. And then moving on to a free versus a planned economy. Depending on where you might live in the world, globally, you might encounter different things. The government might be in control of more of how or which way you spend your money, or if you live in a free market economy, you have more choices about how to spend those profits. Thank you.